Hello, everyone, and welcome into EKU Football's Week 12 Zoom press conference. Joined as always by head football coach Walt Wells. And today we're also joined by defensive lineman Brad Gurley Jr. and tight end Zach Russell. We'll start with coach's opening statements on last week's game and this upcoming senior day matchup against nationally ranked Abilene Christian, and then we'll move into questions from the media. Coach, take it away.
All right, appreciate everybody being here. Obviously, not a great weekend. Not second half was something that could be we have to improve on and get better. All credit goes to Southern Utah and how they came out and performed in the second half, and how we just didn't get it done as a collective group. And we've got to be better coaching, playing, and all that. But really proud of our players and the effort they gave. Everything that we saw on film is they're giving us great effort. We just got to continue to clean up some mistakes that are starting to cost us a little bit at times with our players, and make sure we have a great understanding of what we're trying to get accomplished when we come out of halftime. So I know halftime adjustments are sometimes overrated, but they are something that when we make them, we've got to make sure we do a great job of communicating and carrying that stuff out. And I think we will as we move forward. But a tough one Saturday in Roy Kidd Stadium, but another tough one coming in, a ranked opponent, Abilene Christian, who is playing for the conference title uh, each and every week. They're playing for a share of it with Tarleton if they keep winning. And if they both win out, then Abilene will get the automatic bid. So they're playing for a lot. They're going to be motivated to come in here. Going to look like what you would expect a Texas team to look like. They're going to be a good-looking football team, and they play that way, and they coach that way. And so it's going to be a great challenge for us, but one that we'll be up and ready for. I expect our kids to bounce back and have great energy, and we got to play for a ton of pride these next 2 weeks, and it starts with Abilene Christian. With that, I'll open it up for any questions.
All right, we'll go Michael, then Keith, and then Dick Gabriel.
Coach, when you look at these last two games, how important is it to kind of finish the season strong for these seniors, but also to kind of build some momentum going into next year?
Well, I think that's, the two things that you got to look at. Where do you want to be? All right, every game, every FCS game that we've lost, we've been in it at halftime, and why haven't we? Why haven't we won? That's something that we've been trying to figure out, and we'll continue to figure out and work on as we move forward through the rest of the season. Number two is, our seniors have poured a lot into this program. We've got 20 of them. We've got 10 that are really contributing, and we have to pour it out for all of them because a lot of them are hurt and can't do those things. So they need to go out on a strong note on a non-losing season, and you can't get there if you don't take care of Saturday. And so, how do you take care of Saturday? Why do I think we played well in the first half, or played competitive in the first half and had our chances to win the second half? Because of the way we practice. And, these young guys are going to realize soon that they're going to be sitting in the chair of Zach Russell and other guys. And I think Brad Gurley's on this phone. Well, he'll be a senior next year. So, but the young players that are playing for us, need to understand that those 4 years go real fast, unfortunately, and and so it's something that they need to go out and prepare the right way and get after it for what for them is going to be building for the next season.
I know when you lay your schedule out, in the last 4 or 5 years, you've had those FBS games at the beginning of the season. You look at some of the games that are this week. I know Austin Peay's got an out of conference game. Tennessee Tech's playing up north. Have you thought about? Has there ever been a thought about maybe putting some of those out of conference games toward the back half of the schedule? Has that ever been an option for you all?
Well, it is for me. It kind of depends. I don't do the scheduling. I have everything ran through me. So when I say I don't do it, yes, I'm not saying, well, I just do it. They discuss things with me. But I would, I'm not ever going to complain about our schedule. It's just, I don't think that's right. And if you're a competitor, you expect to play who you're supposed to play. and you expect to win against who you're supposed to play. We played in 6 years, we played 12 FBS programs. That's a lot, but that's what we have to do here, and I'm okay with that. Sure, one at the end. I don't know. I mean, you look at Tennessee Tech; they're undefeated, and they got to go play Kentucky. Do you want your streak broken at the end? Do you not want it started at the beginning? If it happens that way, I know they believe they're going to win, and I think they should believe that way. And I know Kentucky, way they're playing right now, they believe they're going to win, and so it should be a fun game. But it is what it is, and you just have to deal with it. The one thing that I'm proud of is, in my time here, we've never not played anybody that's not FCS or a higher. And I think that's the way it should be. I'm for that. Now, does that cost you at times? Sure, it does. And when you talk scheduling in 16 years, this will be the 16th ranked opponent that we played. I think that says a lot about what we've been doing. And I'm not here to justify what we've been doing. I'm here just you asked a question, I'm answering it. I like doing that. I think that's good for your program. I think that's good for your fan base. I think that's good for building the culture of your football team. Is it always going to work out the way you want it to? No. We've got a pretty good record. I think we're sitting right at 500 against those ranked teams. So I enjoy playing ranked opponents. I think the better the opponent, you better know. You better sharpen your tool and be ready. And it keeps you fit, so to speak. And so I'm excited about the opportunity Saturday. Great Texas football team coming in here, and Abilene Christian. And like I said, I like their head coach is a good dude. I like him. I like their defensive coordinator, Nick Holt, does a great job. I've known him for a while, and I think they do a great job. And, we better be on our P's and Q's. And if we execute, if we play extremely hard like we usually do, then we'll be okay. We'll give ourselves an opportunity to win the game.
Last one for me. You talked about Abilene. When you look at the promotions and everything that goes into, trying to get crowds to come out, if fans are watching this right now, what would be the plea? Hey, listen, come out, let's support us in this final game. What would you say to the folks of Richmond and surrounding areas to come out and watch the Colonels?
Well, it wasn't but 2 games ago that we had a great winning streak going. I think our people do a great job for everything, game day atmosphere, everything that's going on. These seniors have poured into this program. They've been to 2 playoffs in the last 3 years, and now 4 years they've been to 2. And they deserve to have people there for them that day. It's going to be it's a fun atmosphere. It's a great, and then 2 good football teams going at it. Our record doesn't indicate how good we are or could be. And that's a reflection of a lot of things. And one of them is, obviously me. But we got to continue to come out and fight and play. I think we've always done that every year. And I think fans will come out and see a great team playing against these 2 great teams playing against each other. If you want to see good football, come check it out.
Good weather.
And it's going to be 67.
I'll say, yeah, good weather too. We'll take that all day.
But we're going to get to practice in the snow today in case it snows next week in Utah, I guess. I don't know. We're going to go do it.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
So yeah, you get to play the spoiler. What's that could be a little motivating factor for you, I think.
I think if you're a competitor, you want to go out and play good football teams. And I'm so glad that we've got a ranked team coming in here because what else do I need to say? Like, hey man, these guys, they got you last year. They got us last year. We got them the last time we played them before that. And so it's even now. They're ranked coming in here. We get to take that away from them if we want to do our job. And, I'm not saying that, that's going to be an easy task by no means. I mean, they're a really good football team. But we can go out and, like I said, if we execute, play the way we're supposed to play with discipline, play with pride, we can go out and be that guy. And, I think if you want to put your value on the field, you want to do it against ranked opponents. I mean, like I said, we played 4. This will be the 4th one this year, and we're 1-2 right now. And hopefully we can be 2-2 at the end of on next time we meet next Monday.
And that's something I was going to touch on. What does it say about the UAC that it feels like every week we're like, hey, you're facing a ranked opponent?
I think that just shows, you know, we. I think our administration made the right decision when they moved us out of the OVC. Now, does that mean it's harder than the OVC? I think it is. I hadn't played in the OVC though since I don't know when I was here with Dean before I went to Tennessee, but and that was 9 months. So I can't sit there and answer that question with total validity. It reminds me of the OVC when I played with Middle Tennessee, Western, Eastern, all those teams, Akron, Youngstown was in it. And so every week, you were battling your tail off. That's what it reminds me of, not the OVC that, maybe I would have been coaching in before. So I think it does build certain things. And then you look at the UAC, what a great conference. You got two teams from Texas, team from Georgia, team from Alabama, a team from Arkansas, a team from Tennessee. I mean, you're talking about a great football state, obviously a team from Kentucky. You're talking about great football states that produce great talent. And I mean, if you don't want to come and compete in that, and last year we got 3 in, I would say this year they're probably going to get 3 in. And that means a lot when you're talking about, how competitive this conference is. And then you look at the rankings of the conference, Keith, it's crazy. I mean, Tarleton's the only one that's like, I think they're 8-1 or something like that. But everybody else is 6-4 or below. It's just it's a beat 'em up type conference, and the strong that year will survive, just like we were last year as we plowed through it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Dick, any questions from you?
Yeah, well, you talked about your problems in the second half, and they've been pretty apparent. I'm sure puzzling, or maybe not. I guess that's my question. Has there been a constant, anything that you've, for lack of a better term, done consistently in the second half that you wish you could reverse?
Well, I think the biggest thing, Dick, is we're kind of a little bit of a revolving door right now with some players, and that's what we've got to understand as coaches and make sure that our adjustments can be executed and will be executed. And those are the things that we've got to continue to understand who we're playing with. And that's not an excuse. That's just what I think is going on is, you do your stuff in the first half. And obviously it's so much different nowadays because, with the iPads, you see it on the sidelines, then you can go into your locker room and you got a big screen and you can show everybody, you can have it cut up to the plays you want to go watch. And here's what we got to correct. And here's how we're going to adjust. And then you go through that and you show that. And sometimes people need more than just that. You know what I'm saying? And so we may be giving them a little too much information and requiring and coming up with too many answers. Other than the answer, sometimes you just got to play that technique better. You got to play with a little better effort maybe on that play. Or hey man, they just made a really good play. And we got to decide what the problem is and then try to continue to fix it. I mean, you look at us, we start off in the second half last week and we go 3 and out, and we don't have a great kickoff return. We start 3 and out. I think we got a penalty, best I can remember right now. I've kind of dove into Abilene Christian, which put us behind the chains. And I understand that. It's with who we were playing with. I mean, that guy, he made a mistake. I mean, it is what it is. It's first time in the game. And so we got to fix those and make sure that we don't ask too much of them and that they can continue to do what they've been practicing and done. Long answer, but I think those are the answers.
All right. Dick, anything else?
Yeah, you mentioned adjustments. I had a coach once tell me that oftentimes adjustments are not changes, they're just reinforcing what you all tried to teach all week and say, look, you're not doing this. We talked about it. You got to get and do that. Do you find that's the case more often than not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think A lot of times people think adjustments are made when some guys just come out and they execute better and they play harder. And I think if you watch last Saturday's game, the 22 on 22, the all 22 or whatever they call it now, the game film, you realize that, Southern Utah didn't make any. I mean, they did what they did. They got 3 points and until deep into the fourth quarter, and then we had a guy, be honest, misfit the gap, and that running back could run, and he took off, and that's what happened. And if you misfit the gap, it's something we played all week. You misfit the gap, then that's what happens. Now we got to make sure we do a better job at coaching and them understanding it, and they've got to go out and execute it a little better. And so that's on everybody in there. And then offensively, there was things. It's not like they did one thing different with their rusher, Dick, and it never affected us. And so I didn't see a lot of adjustments from them other than they made a couple more plays than we made in the second half. And that's what we got to continue to do.
Thanks.
All right. With no other questions for Coach. Coach, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it as always.
Hey, appreciate everybody being here. Have a good week.
Thanks, Coach. Bring the mullet back.
All right. We'll now bring in tight end Zach Russell into the press conference.
How's it going?
All right. Doing good, Chevy. Michael, if you want to start us off.
Zach, was just going to ask, about the offense. I know there's been some inconsistencies on that side of the football. What do you think is going to have to be the biggest change from, what we saw last week to this week to be able to go out and beat Abilene Christian?
It's really just honing into, the details and our execution. You see, first half, we took, 3 drives, we scored, and then come out into the second half, we just, we weren't able to sustain drives. Like the first drive, we end up 3 and out. And it's just, we gotta find a way to end up making those third down conversions.
All right, last one. When you talk about the way that, the seasons kind of went up and down for you guys, and even the games have been inconsistent.
Yeah.
What has been the biggest reason for that? What do you think has been the biggest issue where you guys have been unable to kind of put a full game together and carry some of that momentum throughout the year?
It's probably the details. We are, too high on our MAs, which means missed assignments. It's tending, and penalties too. When you look at our drives, we have like, multiple MAs or a penalty only drive. We're more shooting ourselves in the foot, not like giving us a chance to have a good, chance to extend the drive.
All right, Keith.
So I was feeling good about my no shave November till I saw this thing. And I think I've seen you on the sidelines, but how long have you been working on this thing?
I've had it for about 4 years now.
What's
Kind
the
of stuck
upkeep like?
now. I can't. I try to put some, wax in it, and it just curled in on itself, and I just, I can't do it right. So I just, just constantly twisting. It'll stay kind of naturally curled.
Can you use that as distraction on the field? Like,
There's been many times, players will stop and say, "Hey, it's a good stash."
all right, so obviously you guys are not getting to where you want to be,
Yeah.
but you get a chance this week to play a spoiler.
Yes.
Do you kind of take that upon yourself? And obviously it's a ranked team. I mean,
I don't like to look at the ranked teams. I like to see it as the next opponent. It's another chance we get, especially, a home game. And I take a lot of pride in like the team I play for. Like I take a lot of pride for the school in Eastern Kentucky. So it means a lot to me every time I get to, step on that field. So I carry myself, the same about every time. Of course we're going to have to, be more locked in, and we're going to find a way to play a full 60-minute game, and really, take this thing to the end, and like to find ourselves on the other side, this time.
and then finally for me, just the senior class, what does it mean to this program?
I mean, it's a lot, especially there's some guys, I have a lot of fond memories with. And I'm really tight with them, and if I need anything in the middle of the night, I can call them up. They'll be there. We take a lot of pride in what we do, and we love playing for each other. And it's going to be emotional for sure, and I think you're going to get our best effort.
All right. Dick, any questions from you?
Yeah, Zach, I had a beard for 26 years, man. The mustache is glorious. It would be
Thank
the
you.
envy of firefighters and bartenders everywhere.
Hey,
We talked to Coach about second half issues, and you guys have won some games where you've played well in the second half, but when you do have the breakdowns, it's easy after the fact, but is there one thing you can put your finger on that you like to correct?
Probably, well, I mean, two, it's our MA and penalties. Those are the culprits of how we're not sustaining drives.
All right, Dick,
Is
anything
it
else?
more mental than physical?
I'd say I don't think there's anything physical. You look at we have our little GPS units, our strain, our efforts there. It's just our execution's got to pick up.
Thank you.
Well,
All right, Zach, thank you so much for joining us. We will certainly miss that mustache around here after senior day.
thank y'all.
All right, we'll now welcome in Brad Gurley on the defensive line.
What's happening?
All right, what's going on, Brad? Michael, start us off.
Brad, you're looking at some of the numbers. You lead the team in sacks and sack yards, and you've had a great year at pressuring the quarterback. You look at some of the other guys up front, but you've seemed to make the biggest leap from last year. What would you credit that to? What's been the biggest difference from your play last year to this season?
Just stepping into that leader role, I have to, just being patient and just keeping my head down, working with the guys, Jeremiah, Tommy. We're all just, in the summer, spring, just keep our heads down, just working, getting better every day.
Last one, when you look at this game, how important is it for you guys to do what Coach talked about earlier, getting some momentum going into next year and closing out the season strong?
Just doing our jobs, just, playing spoil, just getting this momentum going into next year because, that's going to help us in the long run, just keeping our heads down, just working.
All right, Keith.
Can't grow a stash. I mean, what's up? What does the senior class mean to you and the rest of the teammates?
They mean a lot to me. Just one guy in particular, Vito. I went to school with Vito, and it's just like, just the second time coming around, it just means a lot, like Chevy and all of them, just being with them every day, it's just, I just wanted to go out the right way these past 2 weeks, just getting emotional thinking about them. I love those guys to death.
And just this chance to, I mean, you heard me talking with Coach. This conference had so many ranked teams. You got another one coming in here. I know it doesn't take much to get up for it.
Yeah, I love this conference. Just you playing a good team every week. It's just all these good players, good coaches. This type of conference I've always wanted to be a part of. Abilene's a great team. So it's just we keep our head down working. Yeah, they're 16 or 18, whatever they are, but I don't look at that. I just look at a really good football team coming in here. We got a chance to play spoil against them.
All right, Dick.
Yeah, Brad, just a similar question. How do you clean up that second half? And how do you be more consistent?
We just got to do a little bit better at communication because sometimes, we're not communicating all the time. Yeah, we'll communicate, but we need to over communicate and then just cut the little stuff out because the little stuff is going to lose us games. And as we seen last weekend, it lost us games because of the little things.
Chance to win one more in the kid and close out successfully. What does that mean to you guys?
It means a lot. I want to see our seniors out the right way. They mean a lot to me, and I don't want them to go out a Roy kid with a loss.
Thank you.
All right, Brad, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. Media members, thanks for joining us as always, and we look forward to seeing you this weekend.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.